Hi guys, it's Kalina Layla, and today I'm gonna be doing a story time. So this one may be pretty graphic, as in I will show some photos, not of myself, but of the topic. And if you hear some music in the background, you guys all know the drill. I'm listening to YouTube or watching YouTube while I make these videos because, I kind of like music in the background as, sometimes it gets boring when there's nothing going on, it's just me talking. So, this topic that I will be talking about is the time I got shingles for the first time. So, that is why it's kind of graphic, because I will show some photos. I don't know if I will be, whatever by YouTube. Like, this may be reported or whatever, but this is my story about my experience when I had shingles. And so let's get into it. So if you don't know what shingles is, I actually looked it up because I don't know really how to explain it in my own words, so I looked it up on Google. So shingles is also called herpes zoster or zoster. I'm not too sure how to pronounce that. It's a reactivation of the chickenpox virus in the body, causing a painful rash. Anyone who's had chickenpox may develop shingles. It isn't known what reactivates the virus, though. It requires a medical diagnosis, which I did get. It says shingles causes a painful rash that may appear as a stripe of blisters on the trunk of the body. Pain can persist even after the rash is gone. This is called postherpetic neuralgia, something like that. As you can tell, I don't know how to really pronounce it right. Treatments include pain relief and antiviral medications, which I took, such as I can't say these, but aciclovir and valacyclovir. I'm sorry if I'm butchering the names. I'm no doctor, and I don't remember how to say it. If the doctor did tell me how to say it. A chickenpox vaccine in childhood or a shingles vaccine as an adult can minimize the risk of developing shingles. In my situation, I was not able to get the shingles vaccine when I got it 2 or 3 years ago. As when I went to go and see the doctor, it was actually in the last stages of the shingles virus. So because of the fact that I went to go see the doctor in the later stages of it, when it was about to end, they just gave me the pain relief and antiviral medications, which put me out for 2 weeks from work, I think. But here, I will show you, it says the symptoms, so let's go through the symptoms. I already went through the treatments, and I will show you the pictures of what, I will try and find one that looks exactly like the ones that I had. And I will show you the areas which I had contracted it, or I had it reactivated. It says pain areas is in the skin. It is in the skin. The skin can have blisters, redness, scabbing, or ulcers. Sensory is oversensitivity or pins, or the feeling of pins and needles, like when your arm or leg or any part of your body falls asleep. Also common is a burning sensation, which I did have. Tiredness, fatigue, itching, definitely itching because they are blisters and they're up on your skin in your epidermis, so it's gonna be really itchy. Basically like chickenpox. Or painful red blister rash in linear distribution, which I did have also, but mine were actually in little blotches. It wasn't really a line or any like linear distribution per se. So let's go to the images. This part, if you are sensitive to or triggered by blisters, scabbing, any like epidermal like infections and stuff like that, or scabbing, please don't look, or please don't watch, or you can skip this part. I'm not too sure how long this part will be, so I'm not too sure. But yeah, if you're not into this kind of stuff, I will go through the video, and I will put the time, what do you call that? The time cap, or whatever the fuck you call it. Um so you can skip ahead. Let me try and find the best way to show you what I had. So, let's say this was after, in the late stages of when it was going to end. When I went to go see the doctor. That's basically what it looked like. Um, so that was in the late stages of when it was about to end. That's what it looked like on me. Let me see when I first got them. So, I had blistering and stuff like that. So, let's see what's the best way to look at it. There's no easier way to put it, to be honest, to show it, because it is pretty graphic, and it is pretty, not too pretty to look at. It really isn't anything pretty, and I honestly can say I don't wish this upon anybody to have shingles, because it is the worst feeling, and it is the worst experience that you'll ever have, and it's just, it doesn't look nice, and it's sadly I had to have it. And like they said, they don't know, they can't pinpoint exactly what reactivates the virus. So this is very graphic. So this is when I first was in the first stages of having it. That's exactly what they look like. They were, yeah, exactly, like, not linear. They're not in a line or anything like that, but they were scattered, like scattered blotches like that. So that's what I had. And so they did leave scabs on me, and they did leave what do you call that? They did leave scarring. I mean, because they will. It's blistering, you know. And what the doctor told me was that there were nerves that were being, or the doctor, or I looked it up. I'm not too sure who told me, but the reason for the pins and needles feeling and the burning sensation was, and the twitching in my areas that I had the blistering and stuff, was because underneath the epidermis there are nerves, and in there the nerves, what do you call it? The nerves were actually being killed off or dying. Um, so, you know, so underneath that skin, underneath those areas, the nerves cannot be reconstructed. I'm not too sure if the nerves can be reconstructed, but yeah, they were being attacked, and so yeah, that caused one area, which is, I'll say, my thigh, up on my upper thigh up here. It caused my leg to twitch a lot because of the nerve endings and the nerves and what they were going through. So that was the most horrific, not horrific, but it was very painful, I'll say, and the most annoying feeling I've had in my life. And I'll say this happened actually when I started my new job, and I was just getting itchy. So I looked at it, and I showed my parents, and they said it looked like not herpes. Don't take that as that. They said it was hives, because it looks similar to hives, and I have also been known to have eczema. So with that in mind, we just took it as it being me having a hive breakout, an allergic reaction. So we just let it be for a little while, but then it started escalating. It started getting very, very itchy. My skin started bubbling into the blisters, and it started becoming painful. And one day I came back home from work. I took off my my belt and my pants. So underneath, underneath the belt, I was actually wearing it like high waisted up here. I'm not too sure if I have a scar there anymore. We can check. I'm not too sure if I do. But it would be up in this area, I think. Up in this area. I'm not too sure if you guys can see it. If it's still there, because it was there like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. But it was up in this area, all up my back right here. And it was bubbling, and it turned into like this big cluster. It was like almost this big, a cluster of blisters. And ooh, it was just so disgusting. And what I didn't know was that I could actually pass on the chickenpox virus to everybody else who has not had the chickenpox. So I was very contagious. So I basically, when I was having my 2 weeks off from work, I had to quarantine myself. And then also, I don't know if it's still there, but I can't show you one area because it was in the private area, so I can't show you that. But it started right on my hip here, in this area, and then it went down here in this area, and then it went down to my thigh over here. You can't really see the scars because they have healed, but I do have one right here. But it's very faint, so you can't see it. But yeah, so it went from my back area, where that I tried to show you, and then it went down to my genital area, and then down to my upper thigh, and that's where it ended. But yeah, all through those areas was so itchy and irritating, and oh my god, it was the worst feeling I've ever had, because I don't remember having the feeling of the chickenpox because I was so young. My sister actually passed it on to me, apparently. That's what my family had told me. So I was too young to remember. So with that in mind, I didn't know that it would feel like the way it did. And the fact that I couldn't be around anybody, like, it scared me, because this is around the time I started dating my current boyfriend. I went to his house, and this was before I went to the doctor to find out what I actually had. He tried to help me. His mom tried to help me with medicine and stuff. And in the process, he tried to pick me up to move me because I was in so much pain. He actually touched the one on my back, and this sounds so disgusting, but I didn't even know it, okay? So don't get mad at me. I didn't know. So he picked me up from where my blisters were. He picked me up, and he put pressure on it with his hand, and it popped. All the blisters popped. So after that, I went home. My parents told me that the best way to get rid of these blisters was put baking powder on it after I took a bath or a shower. So every time it did that, I think this was after I started taking the medication, the antiviral medication, and the pain relief. My mom told me to, after every shower, every bath, to put baking powder on these blisters so that they would dry out. And that's exactly what happened. And it actually helped the healing process of my blisters instead of having to endure the pain and not itching in those areas. I mean, like, I never scratched them anyways, but it helped in that way. And I thank her for that. I thank her so much. I thank my mom for helping me with healing the blisters quicker with that method. And I'm thankful to the doctor for giving me the medication and stuff like that. But since I didn't get the vaccine, it's this doesn't prevent me from having it again. I could possibly pop up one day randomly and have the shingles again, which I hope and pray I do not. I don't wish this upon anybody, even my worst enemies. I don't even have worst enemies, but people who I just had gone separate ways with, I do not wish this upon anybody. And if you have had shingles, I understand what you've been through or are going through, and you can get past this. You can have the strength to get past this. You're strong, you're beautiful. Even with the scars, you are beautiful because it shows what a warrior you are and how strong you are to go through something like this. And people who have not had it but have the chickenpox vaccine, please, or I mean anyone who's had the chickenpox, if you do get the shingles, that it's okay. You will get through this. Go to the doctor, get the medical attention that you need, and just push through, because it may be tough and it may be painful, and it may make you feel insecure, because it made me feel insecure, especially with my scarring and the blisters and stuff like that. But just know that you're not alone in this, that there's plenty of people who have gone through this and never knew that they would ever get it. So that's my story on my shingles, and that there's shingles awareness, and there's other people who've had it, and you're not alone. We're a big group of people who have had shingles, and you can get through this. And yeah, so that was just the insight into my experience with shingles. And yeah, I just wanted to have a story time about that, because I think that it's a good way to express myself and how I feel, and give other people an insight to someone else's perspective and their experiences with things that most people don't understand, or I don't know what I'm trying to say, but you get the gist. So anyways, that was my story on my experience with shingles, and I hope you guys enjoy my story times, my collection, and all this new content I'm trying to put out there to express myself, and express myself to you, and expose myself to you, basically. So there you guys have it. I hope you guys like my videos. Please leave a thumbs up or subscribe, or whatever you want if you like my content. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye!